Hey everybody, welcome to the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jordan.
I'm Mike Gamble.
And I'm Nick Kinsel.
And I'm Connor Bond.
And today, we're going to be reviewing the two Bristol races with the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series. But before we dig into all of that, let's start off with our Diecast of the week. Nick, what you got for us, bud?
All right. Well, I have an Atlanta scheme that I choose not to bring on the show for various reasons. Instead, I decided to bring out Daniel Hemrick's 2019 Poppy Bank scheme because in the Xfinity Series race this weekend, Hemrick is going to have Poppy Bank on board. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of dig this car, really. It's one of his underrated cars for me. This was like the last Hemrick car that I got, though, but I kind of really dig the orange and the white. So, pretty good looking car. Hope I get to get a race win diecast of the Xfinity version after Saturday.
I don't know why.
What race did he race that scheme at? I don't remember that scheme.
I want to say he raced it. He raced it a couple of times. I think he raced it at a Dover race, and then there was another one that he raced it at. He only raced it like 2 or 3 times last year. I'd have to get back to you on that one.
Kind of like it. I like the orange on it.
I really like the orange and the white on it, honestly. And this is like the underrated scheme. Like I said, this is the last one that I got because I was just like, well, got to complete my collection. So, yeah.
As well.
But now that I have it, I really kind of dig it. They're supposed to have his Poppy Bank Xfinity scheme, but then they got DNP'd. All of Hemrick's cars got DNP'd, except for, fingers crossed, his Charlotte scheme gets produced because that car looks
nice.
really good.
That car is
that
badass.
one I think you'll have some luck because I feel like that's one even like diehard Hemrick fans will want to buy that. But no, just going back to that diecast though, I'm really liking it's got like the Tennessee Volunteers kind of color scheme to it too, which is pretty sweet.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a badass looking car, man.
It's pretty. It's pretty sweet.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mike, so what you got?
All right. In honor of my boy, Bubba Wallace, getting a top 10 at Bristol, baby, we're going to go with the Bubba Wallace STP autographed Chevy Camaro. I miss STP. This was one of my favorite sponsors. Those were awesome cars. This is from Nick's favorite time of the year, Plan B sales Black Friday deals.
Oh, yeah.
Can't beat it. And it's got like the Galaxy. I don't know if you guys could pick up on it much, but it's got like
I can see that from here, dude. That looks awesome.
Wow.
The Galaxy finish is one of the coolest things to me because it's like from afar, it doesn't look any different. But then you put on the light, and then it's got like the kind of color chrome look to it. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I got the normal version of that diecast, so you got to bring it over. We got to compare them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. All right, Connor, what you got today?
All right, Ian, you kind of got me in the throwback scheme today when you gave a sneak peek. So I'm wearing my Dale shirt from 1999.
Nice.
But I went with a little bit of a different diecast. I went with Tim Richmond's Folgers 25 diecast. This is old Timmy Richmond. I feel like if I was alive back in the 70s and 80s, Tim Richmond would have been my guy. So this is one of my favorite diecasts. I love this paint scheme, and it's sitting in Hendrick's Museum too. So that car in person is like whoa. But,
I just want to know, since you're rocking that diecast today, did you wear a headband in jazzercise with a bunch of women today?
I should have. I went and I worked out at the park. I should have worn my shortest shorts and my highest socks and a headband and stuff. That would only been fitting, man. Timmy Richmond, he's undefeated, man. He's just one of a kind. I miss him.
Oh yeah, that's a free spirit right there, man. He was the man.
That's for sure. All right, so for my diecast of the week, I had to bring out Bill Elliott's 1992 Budweiser car. This is a 1/12 scale, so this is a huge diecast. So here, I'll bring out a 1/24.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
Ian damn near drove that thing onto the set.
Yeah, I found this at a pawn shop like a few years ago when I was up in Galena with Abby's family. And they had a bunch of cool diecasts there, and I saw this. I was like, hell, Bill Elliott, when he was in Junior Johnson's 11 car? Hell yeah. So since we're going to Atlanta, I had to bring this out since Bill Elliott won the spring and fall race in 92.
Dude, pawn shops are undefeated when it comes to retro NASCAR. I keep telling you guys.
Yep.
I know.
Gotta love that Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know it was a Supra in the Xfinity series, but Hamlin's throwback to Bill Elliott this year at Darlington, the Xfinity series, his sports clip car. I thought that car looked really good. even though that was a super, which was kind of off, I thought it looked really good on the track at Darlington too. And plus, I've always liked Bill Elliott cars, so anything anybody can do to give a nod to Bill, I'm like, ooh, that's a nice looking paint scheme.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think I have a car. I think I have a Jimmy Johnson diecast that size back at my parents' house, so I'll have to grab that next week.
Sure.
I know it's a Lowe's, so yeah, I'll have to get it.
And me and my dad, we were at Road America 2 years ago when Bill Elliott was driving in the 23, and they kind of did when they did the throwback paint scheme to his 11 Budweiser car on the 23. So that was pretty cool to see.
When he had to run the rookie stripes on it because he had a car forever.
That was hilarious.
Bill Elliott.
Oh, Bill.
All right, boys. So let's get into Bristol Motor Speedway. So on Sunday, we had the Food City Supermarket Heroes 500. We had Brad Keselowski win the pole from a random drawing again. And we have Chase Elliott. He goes on to win stage 1. Blaney went to take the lead on the restart. And then, guys, caution on lap 200. Ryan Blaney spins out, stops on the track. Ty Dillon comes over. He doesn't know where Blaney's going to go. He thinks he's going to go up the track, down the track. He doesn't know where to go. Just takes out the whole front end of Blaney's car. Ended the day for him. That sucked. It always seems like he's got the worst luck at Bristol.
If Ryan Blaney doesn't go on a run this year where he rattles off like 4 in a row at some point or wins like 4 out of like 8 races or something, I don't know. I'm going to be pissed. I feel like the racing gods have stolen about 3 or 4 from him already this year. So, and then this one, he, in my opinion, at that point, he either had the best or the second best car on the track. No questions asked. And, just kind of got a little squirrely. And,
the thing about it, like Ian said, Ryan Blaney at Bristol, he's probably had the fastest car there the past like 2 or 3 years in the spring race, and something always happens to him. I remember 2018, my boy Trevor Bayne took him out. Oh, that was not a good day.
No, that was when I was rooting for both of them at the time.
That's when we were rooting for both of them. Trevor Bayne took him out, and then everybody was talking bad about Trevor, and I was just like, oh, my goodness. It had to be Blaney had to take out.
Isn't it the worst when, like, 2 of your favorite drivers take each other out?
Oh, I went full on Ricky Bobby. Like, I don't know what to do with my emotions right now.
Well, yeah, that's only when Kurt and Kevin wreck each other.
It just sucks for Blaney, though, because he's had, like, the fastest car at, like, 5 races this year and is yet to pull off that win because of bad luck and just bad luck, period. And Todd Gordon was in trouble for a couple of those, but bad luck and Ryan Blaney, it's the pair we hate to see, but it just always seems to happen.
Yeah, but I also got a feeling he could do like a Chase Elliott kind of deal where once he breaks that bubble and gets over the bad luck cloud, like, dude, he's there every weekend now.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, I think I picked him to win last week on the show. So
you did.
I mean, that sucked. But he was strong, man. But it's like feast or famine with the package rerun. Like, we love it because it you have to be up on the wheel. But one of those things with the short track packages, if you barely jump the cushion, you're gonna pay the price. And from his initial spin off too, it looked like maybe he'd be all right if he could get it going again, and then. Ty Dillon comes 10 seconds after the crash is over, just cleans him out. So, I mean, that's just you hate to see that, too, especially when you think the wreck's over. I'm sure Blaney was like, all right, it's about to crank it up again, maybe put it in gear, and then here comes Ty Dillon not checking up and just whacks him. So, that sucks. But Blaney's time is definitely coming. He'll have a Chase Elliott type epiphany and wrap off wins and stuff like that. So, it's only a matter of time, Mike. It's only a matter of time.
Oh, I hope so, brother. But I will just say one last final thing on it. It was almost funny, like how far, especially in slow motion, how far behind that wreck Ty Dillon was. It felt like a good year.
Yeah, I think Ty Dillon was like entry to 1 when Blaney was like starting to gather it up on the back. He just came off turn 2 like full throttle.
Maybe a spotter was in the bathroom or something and he just didn't see it. Maybe, who knows?
It's just one of those come on, man moments. Come on, man.
Yeah, because otherwise, I mean, I think there's every chance that they go in, throw some new rubber on that bad boy, and he's back right out there.
Damage. He would have been fine. He took no damage. He would have been absolutely fine.
Yeah, he just had to work his way back to the pack. But again, story of my life so far this year, being a 12 fan. So
yeah, ain't a good.
If you would have told me at the beginning of this year, being Bubba would be more rewarding from a fan base in terms of the way that he's ran, then Ryan Blaney, I'd have called you crazy. But it's 2020. It's not the weirdest thing that's going on right now.
2020, man.
No kidding. All right, boys, we got 26 to go in stage 2. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano racing hard for the lead. Joey Logano gets a little loose in turn 1 and almost takes out Chase. Guys, remember this. And then we got a caution with 22 to go in stage 2. We got Ricky Stenhouse spinning from contact with Jimmy Johnson after Kenseth kind of slowed down on the backstretch. Stenhouse hits a safer barrier, goes up the track, collects Cole Custer, Kurt Busch, Tyler Reddick, Alex Bowman. Mike Joyce said it best. Stenhouse is having a hero or zero kind of week.
Well, my initial thing when I first heard there was a crash and I saw Stenhouse was in it, my first initial thought was, okay, Ricky Stenhouse just Stenhoused it again. But unfortunately, it was Matt Kenseth who Stenhoused that one, and Matt just got loose and kind of checked up, and then that whole thing started. That really sucks for Stenhouse, though. Had a good run going, had a great finish in Charlotte, and had another fast car here in Bristol, and just to have it taken away by something out of his doing for once.
I was talking to one of my buddies after the race, and I was telling him, these past few ever since the first race back, it just kind of seemed like that 42 car has just been nothing short of in the way. And during that wreck, I took off my fan hat and put on my spotter hat, and I was like, yeah, there goes the 47. And then he hit the inside wall and ricocheted up the track, and I was like, oh, look out! And everybody piled into him. But that's classic Bristol crash. I mean, I've grew up watching them Bristol crashes like that over the years. So part of me was like, Bristol's back. Like the Bristol racing is back. But Stenhouse. I mean, what do you expect? The dude runs well one week. You can almost guarantee the dude is going to wreck the next week, regardless whether it's his fault or not. It's just that's how
for the first time it wasn't his fault. But
for the first time it wasn't.
Matt Kenseth, ever since that Darlington top 10 finish, he really has struggled. He doesn't have a finish inside the top 20 since that, I believe. Well, no, he finished 16th in that Bristol race, but he has not been running well ever since that top 10 run.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, guys, and Chase Elliott goes on to win stage 2. He had a hot rod the whole race. And then we get a caution with 36 to go. We get Martin Truex Jr. getting spun by Eric Almirola, and they collect Michael McDowell in turns 1 and 2. So pretty bitter way for them to end their race right there. Then we get 12 to go. Denny Hamlin loses the lead, getting loose exiting turn 2. Logano races for the lead and gets into the wall as well. Just madness going on here. Then we get Chase Elliott squeezes by Denny Hamlin's. And then Denny Hamlin spins off turn 4, crashes right into BJ McLeod.
That's the reward you get for being the best lapper in the field right there, is you get wrecked by a leader.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucked. Is not only did I lose $50 in the bet, did I lose my $50 prize that I was probably going to win in the bets on Sunday, because it looked like Hamlin was going to take that away. But then you got to go on right. BJ McLeod, the most respectful lapper on the racetrack. Man, that sucked.
Hey, what would have been hilarious? Would have made me the biggest BJ McLeod fan ever. So how Truex always likes to come out and complain about the lappers. If you came out like, so that damn leader's coming through.
Leaders to me, man. They're going too fast.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's Bristol with this package, man. Even the best drivers, Hamlin, had this been last year's package, Hamlin probably would have just cruised away and just would have kept that lead and stuff. But, you overjumped the cushion just a little bit and you're done for. And poor BJ McLeod, I mean, his entire race salary is probably going to have to go back to fixing that car. But, it definitely made for an interesting finish and stuff. And me being somewhat biased to Gibbs, I was like, oh, man. But, I don't know. I just love to see drivers having to really wheel the cars. I can't tell you how many times, they showed the cameras and guys were, sideways off 4, sideways off 2. I mean, that was just, that's sick to me.
Yeah, I agree. You want to see the drivers drive. When you get the package where it is now sometimes, where it's just holder wide open around the 1.5 miles, and it's like you just let the car go over. And the way the arrow is, they're like completely sucked to the track. You got to really do something to spin it. It's like, in a way, it kind of takes away from the product to me too. I want to see these guys drive. I want to see the cars hard to handle. I want to see the talent come out, and the drivers have to really have driver input be a key factor in the race and the drivability of the cars. And
Well,
that was the best part of Bristol. We saw that on full display.
Well, I think that's
Exactly.
the best thing. I think that's what fans want to hear is drivers saying that the car is hard to drive. Because we've seen it time and time again. It's like the Cup car is like the easiest car to drive out of all 3 series. But on the short track package, man, those things look really hard to drive. And as a fan, I love to see it because it just put on such a fantastic show.
Oh, yeah. No doubt, man. No doubt. All right, guys. And then on the restart, we got Chase Elliott taking the lead with 5 to go. Chase Elliott and Joey Logano, they're racing hard for the lead. And with 3 to go, Chase Elliott drives hard in the turn 3, takes himself and Joey Logano up the track and right into the wall. Keselowski scoots by and takes the lead. Boyer goes to second. Then Keselowski holds off Boyer and gets that checkered flag. So that was a little bit of a draw of luck right there.
It was 100% looked like something Joey Logano would do to Chase, not the other way around. That was the craziest thing.
He got raced how he races people. So it's about time he got a taste of his own medicine.
Well, something like I think I had a conversation with a couple of you guys right after the race about too. It's like people are ripping Chase for driving in there. It's like, you know, with how much a win means and, you know, with playoff points and things like that now, obviously you want to try to win every race and things like that too. But you know what? If your driver isn't sending in there with 2 to go, trying to get the race lead, like, is he a winning driver? Probably not.
So I'm going to hold you to that statement.
I'm going to remember that.
When we go and talk about the next race.
That's fine. Go ahead, because they're two. As much as the moves are the same, they're different.
I love to see it. You know, despite all the Chase, in my opinions on Chase Elliott the last few weeks, you know, you love to see, you know, driver going for it and stuff too. But, you know, we've said time and time again, it is only a matter of time before Joey Logano gets all the energy back that he's put out. And, you know, he drove in there and he got crashed. And, you know, it wasn't like it was intentional, of course. They're both going for wins. And if I'm Chase Elliott, I do the same thing. I go in there tight on his door because if you ask me, I would almost like rather go into the corner like side by side with somebody than be at someone's bumper, because, you know, if you get to their bumper, if you misjudge it a little bit, you can really mess up and they can still drive off. If we go there side by side, like if I ain't winning the damn thing, you ain't winning the damn thing either. Like we're both hitting the wall. And, you know, Brad K, he capitalized off that, and the 4 tires helped too. You know, he restarted on 4 fresher tires than everybody else, and on that outside road too, which was just, you know, if you started on the inside road, you were just getting wrenched up all day. So, you know, the whole Logano incident, you know, him asking, you know, for an apology. I didn't see him walking from turn 3 all the way over to pit road on Martinsville in 2018 and apologizing to Truex. I didn't see him apologize to Kyle when he wrecked him in 2017 at Vegas. I didn't even see him apologize last year after, you know, he pushed Hamlin and one of his crew guys could have broke Hamlin's neck, you know. Just like it's one of those things where it's like, dude, like, honestly, like, you would have done the exact same thing. So don't even.
And Chase said that too. I guess one of the things that pissed Logano off was he said to him, "You would have done that."
Yep.
Yeah, I don't care.
I think the funniest thing that came out of all of that was when Joey Logano said Chase Elliott needs to stand up and be a man and just take it. Even though Joey Logano, time and time again, like Connor was just rattling off all those incidents, stand up and take it like a man. So yeah, he's gonna shove Denny Hamlin and then he's just gonna go and run away like a little.
Well, I mean, even look back in the day when Joey's starting off, he had his dad defend him all the time, and his dad had to fight for him. Joey he's not a fighter, man.
Yeah, to me, his comments were full on just laughable. Like that's what you're gonna say after year passed.
You know you're a full on bonehead when you try and go toe to toe after a race at Michigan with Ryan Newman. If there's anybody in the Cup Series you don't want to go toe to toe with, it's Ryan Newman. The dude is literally an ox. So
I mean, like, unless he's sitting in his car with his helmet on.
No matter what, you're not going toe to toe with the guy. But one thing I did like out of Chase Elliott in that was I saw a little blip of young Kyle Busch in Chase Elliott's post-race interview when, or not really in his interview, when he got confronted and Logano expected an apology and Chase kind of shrugged it off. You know, that's something Kyle would have done back in the day. Like, F it. So what? We got wrecked. So what? You crashed. I don't care. Like that was quintessential Kyle Busch in 2008. So to see that out of Chase Elliott, that like, thumbs up from me. Chase Elliott's like fandom for me went up a little bit this week after it kind of went down a little last week. So you love to see it from Chase Elliott. If he would have got on camera and said, "Oh, I'm sorry" and all that stuff, I would be like, "Get out of here!"
Yeah, right.
I mean, at the end of the day, it was just a classic old Bristol finish. It was just awesome. That whole race, I was telling you guys, I thought this was the best race. Well, honestly, all year, and the best race since we've come back from our little hiatus. So that if we can get more of that kind of product on the racetrack, oh man, this season's just gonna keep getting better and better. That was
I don't know if you guys saw Jeff Gluck's tweet, but this race was the number one best race on his is it a good race, yes or no kind of poll.
Didn't it get like 95%?
Yeah, like a 94, 95%. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they upped it from the last time, or I guess the second highest was Bristol in August of 2018. So the fact that they're both at Bristol, both with the same package, I mean, what does that tell you guys? Like,
short track.
Why don't we just run? Yeah, what short track A, and why can't we just have this package? At every track. It's
right.
Just, the product of racing in these two packages are so much different. And like, if I was a new fan and you sat me down to watch Charlotte on, this Coke 600, you sat me down to watch Bristol, I would have thought these were like two different leagues,
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God, like how many cautions did we have Sunday? Like 17?
We were almost
13 or 14.
Yeah, the record's like 20, right?
Yeah, we were like 3 away from the record.
Yeah.
We were up there, and as much as I like racing and stuff like that, and I'm not a caution junkie and stuff, it was encouraging to see that, because it's encouraging to see guys, driving to turn 1 or 3 and just get loose and take out the wall. So
yeah, the stat 102 laps were run under caution in Sunday's race.
Oh my
God.
Out of 500. Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, were they on iRacing?
Yeah,
right.
My God.
Crazy stat right there.
Wow.
That's a fifth of the race right there, just running under yellow. But the laps just go off so quick at Bristol. I mean, you really never noticed.
Yeah, I feel like at any one caution with how short that track that place is, it's like
10 laps.
Yes, like 7, 8, 9 laps for every yellow. But no, just to piggyback off what you guys have been saying too, that's even for me watching Blaney wreck out under his own accord, basically with the spin. That was by far and away the most enjoyable race we've seen all year. Just the racing package was absolutely incredible. You saw with the PJ1, the low line was competitive, and a lot of times was the preferred line, which is kind of new for Bristol in a lot of ways. Usually, if you're not sucking up on that wall, good luck. But seeing both lines be competitive for different reasons too was awesome. Like, you could really get deep and drive it into the low part of turns. But if you stuck that high line, you really had them on corner exit, which was a lot of fun to watch, that whole dynamic and how drivers tried to make that work. And just like we said, just how hard the cars were to drive. Then you add in the dynamic of a short track with the lappers right on top of you. It really puts the pressure on the leaders to drive well under pressure with slower cars around them. Couldn't have asked for a better race, other than maybe Blaney winning, but hey, whatever.
Man, I'll put it to you this way, man. I would rather have, and we all know how I feel about Kyle. I mean, you guys are in the same group chat as me during the race. You know how I feel about Kyle. And for those of you watching and listening right now, I spare you guys that you're not in a group chat, because I'm sure
you're like a totally different person when we're watching a race on Sunday.
The NASCAR fan hat goes off and the 18 hat goes right off. So that's the thing. But I'll say this, I'd rather see Kyle. I would be more okay with Kyle wrecking out, sawing on the wheel, going for it, than finishing second and getting aero tight going into turn 3 because he can't get by the leader because of the the dirty air and all that stuff. I would rather see him wreck out, trying to wheel the thing and go for it, than him just running second with the faster car and just can't get around him because of this package we got at the mile and a half and stuff. Yeah. So that's how I feel.
And I agree. And when drivers especially last year, were voicing their displeasure about it, I wholeheartedly agreed with them. And just because exactly for what you said there, if it's, something like that happens, okay, fine, we get it. That's NASCAR. But, and that's racing. But like you said, when you just can't get by guys because of the way the cars drive and things like that, it gets annoying.
I mean, yeah, my guy was out of the race like 200 laps in, but that was still just awesome to watch. Yeah, Matt Dibenedetto, wow, what the heck, man. My pick just tanked yet again. Had mechanical issues and everything back in the garage at lap 200, but man, that was just so fun to watch.
Yeah, and to piggyback what you said, Mike, like, and being a fan and watching it like live and like living through it is the worst, because Darlington last year, Kyle, led a lot of laps, probably should have won the race, and Eric Jones, beat him off pit road, and Kyle was consistently faster than him every single lap and ran him down to the point where he got inside of him but just couldn't pass him. And for like, as a fan there watching that, it was like in Fortnite when you get shot in the leg and you just got to crawl around and like can't really do anything. You just got to crawl around the rest of the game until it's like officially over. Like, it was so painful because literally every lap Kyle was just clicking him off like faster, 0.3 faster than Eric Jones, but you just couldn't get by him. So, to see short track package, come about and actually see like this package creates hard racing is super encouraging going forward, because I think this kind of raised NASCAR's executives' eyebrows. It's like, like, maybe we did kind of get it wrong with this, current package that we're running, because, if anything, this race was a huge eye opener for the sport.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And before we move on to anything, I just want to give a huge congratulatory award to Connor Bunn, the very first ever reference of Fortnite on the Stock Car Spectacle.
And I don't even play it. That's the thing. I've only played it once, and I just knew like that's what happened. So, yes, sir. That's off to me.
Gotta keep it pop culture for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, so let's get into the Cheddar's 300. It was the Xfinity race at Bristol. It was a really cool race just because we had Kurt and Kyle Busch in the booth for the first time. Kurt's been in the booth before, but it was Kyle's first time in there, so it was good to see the Busch brothers alongside Adam Alexander.
Is there anything that Kyle Busch can't do? I mean, he was looking like a natural in there. Like, yes, we know the man can drive a race car, but even in the booth, he was funny. Kyle Busch is the kind of guy you want in the booth, because he is so good. He is so good at breaking stuff down for you, and that's just like the kind of guy you would want to see in the booth. I didn't expect it to go as well as it did, but I got to give kudos to him and Kurt. They put on a hell of a show.
Absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
And then on top of the fact, you add down his ability and his just smart ass kind of comedy to it.
His witty ways.
Oh yeah, just
yeah.
I wish he'd do whatever races he's not racing in, jump in the booth.
Get him in that booth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I had low expectations. I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. The Busch brothers kind of clashing personalities a little bit, but I think they played off each other great. I think they were both really funny at times and both very insightful at times too. So going forward, I would love to see them both in the Xfinity booth again.
Oh yeah, and I don't think we get to see like a lot of the Busch brothers like acting like together, because they're always racing, they're always working with their teams. We don't see like them interacting, so to see them kind of talk about last year's Kentucky race, and Kurt was like, "Oh, you always get bent out of shape when you I came in second." Like, I was crying laughing watching that. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, that was funny. I loved it. Like, it was just the perfect combo. I mean, they both were very insightful at times. They were both funny in their own ways, and they both went at each other in their own ways at times too. So it was just like being a fly on the wall at the Busch family Thanksgiving, to be honest with you.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. All right, guys. So Harrison Burton, he wins the pole from a random drawing. His teammate Brandon Jones joined him on the front row. And then we get an early caution for Ross Chastain and Austin Cindric. Kind of this, I don't know, same deal as Ty Dillon. Michael Annett had nowhere to go and basically destroyed the entire back end of Ross Chastain's car. I thought Ross was going to be I thought Ross was going to be fine because, you can work
Connor,
with
you
damage.
picked Ross too, didn't you?
I did. So it's crazy how both of my picks got taken out in the race in almost the exact same type of fashion. And I thought Ross was going to bounce back well from that, but he just couldn't get it going after that.
Yeah, I thought, because Kyle was saying, well, he's a lot lighter now, so he's going to be a lot faster.
Yeah, he's going to be fast.
And I was like, oh, damn, he's going to win this race. But no, he had to keep going to the pits.
Garage,
yeah. Yeah, that sucked for him. And then we got Noah Gragson going on to win stage 1. And that's when we had the little interaction with him and Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch dialed up his radio. They were talking for a little bit. Noah Gragson thanked his sponsors, Junior Motorsports, all that. And Kyle Busch kind of gave like the kind of face. He's like, "Do you even know who you're talking to, bud?" And Noah's like, "No idea." And Kyle was like, "All right, I'm going to let you dwell on that for a little bit." And Noah's like, oh. That was a great Yeah, it's my old boss. Holy crap. that was a great interaction.
Incredible.
Now, if it was Todd Gilliland, I think it would have gone a little bit different considering how Kyle and Todd Gilliland feel about each other.
Oh my god,
that was the best.
But you almost knew it was going to happen at some point in that race, that Kyle was going to dial up somebody. I think even towards the end of the race, when the whole incident went down, Kyle was like, "Anybody, can we dial into Junior's house or something like that, or let's go down to the 7 car and stuff like that." So I'm telling you, man, it was a good time watching the race too. So that was fun to see. I laughed at that.
Oh,
and you know, it was kind of funny, but at the same time, I think Kyle's kind of onto something. You could have got like immediate reactions on some of that. You'd have got like raw emotion type of stuff that like other sports are able to do that sometimes maybe NASCAR kind of tippy toes around. And I think they didn't used to in the past. And that's the kind of like raw emotion and passion like people want to see. So I think honestly, like he was being funny, but like I felt like he hit on something there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, guys. So we got caution on lap 17 of stage 2. We get Timmy Hill, iRacing champion, getting spun racing with Vinnie Miller. Vinnie Miller was having one hell of a day, guys.
That's a BJ McLeod Motorsport car, and that is a 2018 chassis that he's running right there. And somehow he was able to kick it with them boys on Monday night. So that was good run for him.
Hey, that's the beautiful thing about Bristol. You can get those underfunded teams that can run up to the front.
Just like a 2-year-old chassis, though. That was incredible how he was able to pull that off.
Oh yeah,
BJ had that thing wired up or something. I want to know. I want to be right there when they're pushing that thing through the scales. See what BJ rigged up under that machine.
Oh, he stood on the scales with it. That's what it was.
No, they're doing it like how they did back in the day. They're putting giant ice blocks under the car and waiting for it to melt, and then their car's lighter during the race.
Yep.
Oh my god! And then caution on lap 39 of stage 2. We had AJ Allmendinger spinning in turns 3 and 4 after trying to get under the 52. But luckily he didn't really have any damage, so he just kept on going. And we get a hard hit for the 0-2 of Patrick Emmerling. Me and Nick, we were watching this race. We looked at each other. We're like, "Who the hell is this guy?" So he was spinning, hit the safer Barry on the straightaway. He had a hard lick, so really sucked for the Our Motorsports. You know, they're a new team. I think they started a little bit late last year. So unfortunate to see them go through that because, you know, they need the finishes that they can get. And then we get Justin Alligator going on to win stage 2. We got the Junior Motorsports boys. We're fired up. And then Riley Herbst goes on to take the lead on the restart. Gets into Justin Haley, and Herbst spins and hits the wall hard. Just
terrible Herbst back at it again.
Living up to a family store name.
Doggy, man, he is. Oh man, that kid's got some work to do, man. When he what he go 2 tires? He went 2 left sides.
Yeah,
he didn't
2 right side tires. Yeah,
two left side tires and started up there. I said, oh man,
Who's the crew chief?
I have no idea.
Well, they explained it because I don't remember who it was, but somebody in the Sunday race for the Cup race did that as well, where they got inside tires or something along those lines, and it worked out really well for them. Like, all right, so we're gonna try it here.
Yeah, as soon as Riley missed the bottom, I was like, this could because he's not a type driver where if he misses the bottom and you split him 3 wide, he's not really the type driver yet to where he can hold his line. So if you put him 3 wide, he, you know, for lack of a better word, shits the bed. So once he missed the bottom, I was like, we could see a lot of cars tore up out of this. And thankfully it was, unfortunately it was just the 11, but thankfully it wasn't like the whole pack, you know.
Right. That just sucks though because
that was my concern.
Justin Haley had himself a terrific night going right there.
Dude, he was looking like Ross Chastain out there.
I thought he was gonna chase those leaders down, but yeah, back to Riley Herbst, man. Like He's just he's questionable for me. He's one of those like, how did this kid get this ride? And then I think about daddy's money and everything. I don't know. I just haven't seen enough out of Herbst yet to really think he should be in this series. I don't know.
I feel like he's another one who jumped up from the truck series, probably a little too fast.
He didn't even run a full-time.
Well, he just ran 5 races in the truck series?
Yeah, ARCA, a handful of trucks, and then straight up. And, for certain guys, like we had the argument about Harrison Burton before, maybe the truck series doesn't fit his style, but maybe he didn't have the success, but he got a boatload of seat time. So there is that for it. And again, in a case like a Riley Herbst, he didn't have that. I think in the equipment that he's in right now, he is in a little over his head. And just like you kind of said, Connor, in a situation like that where, he's put out front, he probably doesn't have the poise and experience, that when things don't work out, to gracefully get his car back to where it needs to be, you're probably going to have to call Allstate because mayhem's about to ensue.
Yeah, dude, it was just from the get-go of Gibbs, when they announced that they were going to do 3 full-time cars for Xfinity last year, which, in this modern day, it's kind of nuts to see one team do 3 full-time, or a big team at least. And so once they put Riley in the car, it was a bit of a head-scratcher to me. Like, I understand, like, you got funding and everything, but in terms of, getting that car to where it needs to be and stuff, especially with Brandon Jones. We all know how we've all felt about Brandon Jones and stuff. I was like, oh man, this team as a collective is really setting out for Harrison Burton to carry the flagship. And, whenever Kyle Busch or Denny jump in a ride and stuff, but I don't know, man, it's just, there's some seat time is undefeated and I, being a race fan, I didn't know that until like last year when I really started to talk to like people and within the industry and people who actually race, and they'll tell you like, yeah, you can get in, a truck every now and then or Xfinity and get one win, but there's nothing that beats seat time and experience, because that is what's going to really carry you from series to series. And, with Herb's not having, much seat time as it is, especially in the trucks, and moving right up to Xfinity, which Xfinity cars drive totally different than Cup and trucks. So a bit of a questionable move, but you kind of knew he was just, toast when he started out there on 2 left sides. I can't get over that. 2 left sides.
Yeah.
Or 2. So it sucks to see like Gibbs' car get tore up, but you almost knew that was going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially at a track like Bristol.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Ian, lead us into the big controversy now.
Here we go.
All right, so setting up, we got a caution with 13 to go. The 15 of Colby Howard gets a flat left front, goes down, hits the wall hard, sets us up for an exciting restart. Guys, all right, I'm going to set it up here. Fair or foul, we got Noah Gragson driving the car hard into turn 3, sends Justin Allgaier up the track. Allgaier spins, hits the pit wall, ending his contention for the win. Connor, I want to start with you. Fair or foul, and explain why.
Right from the get-go watching it live, I was like, man, that's dirty. Like, that's a teammate. I would not have done that. I would have given him, 2 more inches, per se. So right off the bat, I was like, man, that's foul. That's dirty. I would not have done that. But, watching it back the last couple of days, the 7 did go in on him tight in the corner 2. They're both racing for a win. When you're in races like that, teammate hat really goes out the window and you're racing for yourself. And to dive even deeper into it, I think if you're Gragson, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, well, clearly I'm not the favorite for the 48 next year. And, I'm not even the favorite for the 10 or the 14. In my opinion, if Boyer and Almirola aren't in the 14 next year, it's going to be Briscoe and or John Hunter Nemechek, maybe insert somebody else. So, Gregson's racing. Everything career-wise is on the line for Gragson in terms of progressing. So I can almost understand it from, his perception of why he would go in there tight and, 4-tire slides to take out his teammate and stuff. But, at the end of the day, I think it's both foul or fair. I think it just depends which side of the fence you'd rather ride with. I think if you're an Allgaier fan, you're pissed and it's nothing but foul. I think if you're a Gragson fan and you know what, he's got to do to excel his career, it's more than fair. They're 2 different guys. They're, granted they're teammates, but they're 2 different guys in the sport that are at different crossroads in their career. Allgaier, he's kind of got his bed made in the Xfinity series and in terms of, what he's going to do in the future. Gregson's future is, it's, behind the curtain. We don't know what's behind the curtain. So I think when you're presented with an opportunity like that at the end of the race, you're going to race as hard as possible. And, if it means wrecking a teammate unintentionally, then that's what happens. But I can see it from both ends. I think it's both fair or foul. I just think it sucks that it happened to be a teammate. I know Junior, the big loser in this is Junior, because it's like, do I praise one of my young guys for winning, or do I, be pissed that he took out one of my cars? So that's kind of how I feel about it. But I know you guys have differing opinions, and I can't wait to hear Mike's.
So
yeah,
honestly,
I'm thinking of Mike's.
You kind of beat me to the way I was going to describe it. So I don't think you can give just one fair or foul. Here's the way I look at it. The move itself, fair. Kind of like we said about Chase Elliott. You're going down there, you're driving for a win. If your driver's not making that move with a handful of laps left to win at Bristol, you're probably not a winning race car driver. But for me, what's foul is the context and the situation around it. First of all, again, that's a teammate. That's a veteran teammate that I would bet my next paycheck on helps you out a whole lot behind the scenes, which is something to be taken into the example. Another thing for me, this ain't Noah Gregson's first, second, third, fourth, or 34th time wrecking somebody in a weird fashion like that. I like Noah Gregson a lot, but damn, when you do shit like this, it makes it really hard sometimes. Again, going back to our group chat, I put in the chat before it happened, like, watch, he's about to take out Allgaier here. And Dakota commented right back and was like, nah, man, he ain't going to do it. I'm like, you pay attention, man, because this ain't the first go-around with this. And then it happened, like, as I hit send. I was like, about that. So that's the only thing that I don't like about it is he does have a history of this kind of stuff. Look at the race. What was it? The Truck Series playoff race. Was it Canadian Tire where he took
when he took out Todd?
Oh, yeah.
His teammate for the win. And just to touch on it, and this is why, to me, some of the context makes it foul. I was listening to Dale Jr. Download on the way in on my walk today, and something he said about it, too. If you're Noah and you do that, you better win that race, because then you slip up and somebody that's not a Junior Motorsports car wins, and you took out the best car and then Justin Allgaier, buddy.
You got it's gonna be a long Tuesday morning at Junior Motorsports then.
Yeah. So
I would love to be able to sit in on that conversation at their team meeting. That would just, oh man, that'd be incredible.
Yeah. All right, Nick, so fair or foul?
Justin's just too classy. Like, you heard his interview after. He said, with everything else going on in the world right now, there's bigger tragedies, there's bigger stuff going on. It's not that big a deal. So, but yeah, so a little bit of both for me on it.
Right.
I could see that too. I'll go in the middle as well, but I'm leaning more towards the fair side. Justin Allgaier also said in his interview that he screwed up when he gave Gregson the bottom. He got off the bottom a little bit, but but here's the thing from Gregson and Chase is that are both similar. They both said they were going into that turn and they knew that they weren't coming out of it they didn't know if they were coming out of it on the good end, as if they were just full sending it. I understand Noah Gregson is a very aggressive race car driver, but it's kind of played into his favor a little bit here. We've seen it time and time again. But at the end of the day, he said it best in his post-race interview. Like, he's not out there driving for the number 7. He's not out there trying to just give him wins. He's trying to do the best that he can for himself. And I think Connor hit on it really good too when he said that, Noah Gregson's fighting for a ride in the Cup Series. He could potentially be fighting for a ride in the Cup Series that just might not be there for him yet. So I like the aggressive style on it. It's just, very unfortunate it had to be a teammate. But at the end of the day, he's driving for Noah Gregson in the number 9 team, not Justin Allgaier in the number 7 team. He can't just not go for it. But, I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Okay, but before we get to Ian, there is one little thing you guys brought up that I do want to refute, though. I don't think that man's getting a Cup ride for another 2-3 years. He's not ready for that.
Yeah, I will agree. I don't think he gets a Cup ride next year. I don't think he's ready. Behind like I touched on a couple weeks ago, to be a Cup driver, you got to be as skilled behind the wheel, but you also got to, like, I don't know how to word this where it doesn't sound like an asshole, but like you got to be smart in situations, and I feel like a lot of the times Gregson makes bold moves that from the outside is clappable. Like, you'd applaud somebody to do that, but then you also question, like, was that the smartest thing to do? And I think, Cup owners especially see that. Like,
Right.
if they don't want you going out there and tearing up their stuff, because at the end of the day, that comes out of their wallet.
Yeah, that's
And
why.
so I think Gregson is a little behind in terms of that, and it's going to take him a little bit to develop that. But I do want to ask Nick, though, do you side on the side of fair if him dog is on the outside of him instead of
Hell
the
no.
7?
Okay, all right. So
Noah Gregson's name is being drugged through the mud and F-bombed left and right if that's him dog going for the dub.
Oh, I wouldn't have been a happy camper, but at the end of the day, you just gotta realize, like I said, Noah Gregson's driving for the number 9 team, not for the number 8 team of Daniel Hemrick. I would be pissed off. I might just not have expressed it as much to you guys, but when I got home, I probably would have tore the roof off or something like that. But at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. I don't think Gregson's ready for Cup, but this is why he's in the Xfinity Series right now, so he can figure out what he's got to do to get better. He's been making a few mistakes, but if he can just lay off the aggression a little bit. I said it plays into his favor from time to time, but if he can just lay off of that a little bit, he's still got some stuff to learn. That's why he's in the Xfinity Series. Give the kid 2, 3, 4 years, and he could be in the Cup Series for sure.
Before we get to our resident Noah Gregson fan, I just want to add, even through all of that, I still think the world of Noah. I think he's not only one of the best personalities in the Xfinity Series, but in all of NASCAR. I get frustrated when you see stuff like that where he's wrecking teammates or he's wrecking people in the past in weird situations. He had the Vegas incident with Myatt Snider where Junior already had to sit him down. I just worry that because I like him and, one of my good buddies, Ian's obviously a huge fan of him, I don't want to see him become Ricky Stenhouse. That's an awesome personality. I think he's better than that. You just got to kind of reel in, mature a little bit, be a little more calm, cool, collected, and poised in some situations, and he's going to be fine. So at the end of the day, not the biggest harm nor foul. So
I agree.
All right, big dog, what you got for us?
All right. Well, I'm going to sound a little biased here. I don't want to be biased.
No way.
But I do think it was fair. First off, it is Bristol. He's a young kid. He's 21. He only had one career win under his belt. His teammate Justin Allgaier has 10-plus wins in the Xfinity Series. This kid needs to make a name for himself. Yeah, I hear you guys. Maybe he's not ready for Cup next year, but I don't think it's going to take 3-4 years. I think who the hell knows if he takes off this season. He could possibly get 3-4 wins this year. He could possibly win the championship. Who knows? And that could open up things for him. Who really knows? Yes, he's an aggressive driver, and that's what works for him. Yeah, he's made stupid moves. He made that one move at Dover where he kind of did the Carl Edwards, like I'm going to go into that turn video game style kind of thing. But, he's going for the win. He's trying anything that he can do to get that checkered flag. And you know what? I think that's the right way to do it. Yeah, sometimes he'll wreck some people like he did Todd Gilliland or like he just did Justin Allgaier. But, hey, like he said, he's worrying about the 9 team. He was worrying about the 18 team. So it's checkers or wreckers at that point if it really comes down to it. But, yeah, I think it was all fair.
Good hard short track racing for a win. And here's the thing that I love most about Noah Gragson is his personality. You hear people bagging on his personality at all, but then those are the same kind of people who say, "Oh, NASCAR drivers show no personality, none of this, none of that." And then when you finally get a driver who's got a personality, they're just like, "Oh, screw this guy. He's such a jagoff and everything." But no, I love Noah Gragson and his personality.
Have we lost Mike?
Mike, can you hear us?
Yeah, I'm back.
Are you back? Hey. All right, we're back.
Yeah. Sorry, little network error there. Sorry, boys.
No problem.
Little lapse in network like Noah's judgment. No big deal.
There we go.
I'm just kidding.
There it is.
No. But yeah, no. Like I said, I think the world of Noah too. Outside of Justin Allgaier, he's probably my favorite driver in the Xfinity Series. I think again, a couple days later now, no skin off my butt, so I don't really care all that much. It was just one of those things at the time. It's like, Justin was the best car. Really thought he had it. But you know what? I think they both have a chance to be there. What's that?
It just always seems to happen to Justin. That man always somehow gets screwed out of a win in the Xfinity Series. Holy cow.
Yep.
Yeah. I think if Noah can find the perfect balance of aggressive and smarts behind the wheel, then, the kid's got all the potential in the world. but he's got to find the equal balance, and he's at the perfect level in stock car racing to find that balance too. If he was in Cup, it'd be a little bit of a different story because you're racing against guys who won 7 championships, so you're held to a little higher standard. But when it's easy to tell that Gragson is the top 3-4 drivers in the Xfinity series as a whole as it is right now. So, and the fact that is a top driver in good equipment and still able to figure himself out. I mean, he's in a win-win situation. And I know Gragson is like 21, 22 years old. I'll be 22 next week. If I can see a win like out of my eyes at Bristol like that late in the race, I'm probably doing the same thing. So I almost can't even fault him. It's just more situational is what makes it a little bitter.
Right, but that's what makes good racing, man. That's what makes good racing,
and
that's what makes
Austin
great stories.
Cindric, he wrecks, we're all like,
I was going to say, if he's not wrecking a teammate right there, we're probably all saying that's a fair move right there.
Yeah. But you can ask Nick.
Like one of the nicest guys.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can ask Nick. When Noah took out Justin, I was up and out of the chair. I was freaking cheering. Let's go!
And then when I saw the group chat's text message, I was like, oh boy, Ian, don't open up your iPod right now, man. You're not like what they have to say.
Yeah, I typed in the group chat before the restart and said, man, I hope somebody jacks a 7 here, but I didn't mean wreck them. I just
say
meant,
that.
It was you that helped me predict it, buddy.
I just meant like I hope the 7 gets up off the bottom a little bit and we can have like some hard racing. I mean, like totally like jack them up and wreck them, but I was like, oh man, no.
Just like the gambler said, it's gonna happen. You just watch, buddy.
It takes me back to Charlotte 2010 All-Star race, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch incident. Denny crowds Kyle and puts him in the wall of the race in 1 and 2 for the All-Star win. So, I almost can't even be mad about it, to be honest with you. Yeah.
That's for $1 million right there. Holy cow.
True.
My grandma for that, honestly.
I mean, hey, Kurt and Kyle, they wrecked each other in that All-Star race. They didn't talk to each other for like a year.
That was Thanksgiving for them that year.
Yeah, their grandma made them freaking start talking to each other again.
Yeah, we need to talk about that in the booth. That would have been great.
Yeah.
That's probably something they both don't want to talk about.
That's like one of the most iconic Busch Brothers stories.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to mention it after the after the Gragson and Allgaier incident. I was like, man, they got to talk about this now, especially when Kurt got on TV after he got out of the medical center. I was like, I'm not eating any Kellogg's anytime soon. And then to find out they didn't talk for like 10, 11 months after that. I mean, that's incredible. One of the most iconic NASCAR moments of all time.
Yeah, they had a golden opportunity to segue right into that.
Right there, though. That's such a Busch brother thing to do right there.
Yeah. And then, guys, all right, so let's get back into the race. I feel like we haven't talked about, like, the race. So after that caution with Justin Allgaier spinning, we had Noah Gragson taking the lead in NASCAR overtime. Noah Gragson races hard with Chase Briscoe and Brandon Jones. But Noah Gragson, he goes and collects the checkered flag for his second career Xfinity win. So, guys, we had 2 exciting races this week with the Cup race and the Xfinity race. It's Bristol, baby. I don't know what else to say. Best track in NASCAR.
Yeah, Bristol, and I'm just not even surprised by it anymore out of the Xfinity series. It's every weekend they have it.
Yep. I mean,
I shouldn't say weekend.
It happened when we came back with Briscoe and Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Yep.
We had some exciting racing.
I can't recall in my mind the last time, too, that we had a weekend where it was like, man, the Xfinity race was amazing and the Cup race was amazing. It's been a while since I've been able to say that both races have really showed out and put on, honestly, probably the best performance and the most entertaining, show to watch that, we could possibly ask for. So to see that's super encouraging. And honestly, Bristol 5 times a year, dude. Like, honestly, put it on schedule 5 times a year and let's get it going, man.
or just make Bristol twins.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if Chicagoland Speedway is going to be demolished, tear it down, make another Bristol.
Yeah, build another Bristol. See, they tried to do that with Dover.
I'd follow
the Magnificent Mile, as we're known for in Chicago anyway, dude. We're good to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hey, Bristol, Martinsville, Phoenix, all year long. Good to go.
Run it.
Oh, yeah.
Throwing a Talladega and a Daytona along the way.
Stout.
Damn straight. All right, guys. So you got anything else to add before we before we exit the show?
No, other than like I said, both races this weekend was fantastic, great for the sport, and I can only hope that all 3 races this weekend will be much of the same. That's kind of high hopes considering the package that we're dealing with Cup now, but you never know. So hopefully we see just as good racing this weekend as we saw this past weekend.
There is one thing I want to touch on. Can't say we surprised we waited this long to kind of touch on it too. With everything going on in the world today, I don't know if any of you boys got a chance to check out Bubba Wallace's Instagram Live with Ty Dillon, and he just did the Dale Jr. download as well. I'll be honest, listening to Bubba talk about some of the things in his past and some of the things that he's had to deal with, he was getting choked up. I was getting choked up. Listening to him getting choked up talking about it. Couldn't have been prouder to be a Bubba fan. Couldn't have been prouder to be associated with a guy like him. You ever wonder why I'm a Bubba Wallace fan? That's why. He's just an amazing human being. He's my personal hero with the way he handles stuff like this. Again, there's no place for racism in this world anymore with everything that's going on in the world right now. Just really, really proud to see how one of our own, Bubba Wallace, handled all this. And I stand with Bubba no matter what.
Absolutely.
And it was amazing to see all the drivers the other day, post the black screens and stand up and say something about all of this because, we've talked about it before. NASCAR has kind of been labeled as, the racist redneck sport. And it's good to see drivers like that throw in their support.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Exactly. So, guys, I think that's a great place to end our show for the Stock Car Spectacle. I'm Ian Jortson.
I'm Mike Campbell.
I'm Nick Kinsel.
And I'm Connor Bond.
I get replaced? Oh, God.
No.
Oh,
you
no.
had that long lag. He was just going to fit right in there.
Yeah, I was just trying to jump right in.
Guys, make sure to check out Connor Bunn and For the Lead on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to check out our good buddy Patrick Cotto with the Cotto's Mojo podcast on Twitter and Instagram as well. Our good friends Ashland Hens Racing, they're also on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to check the Stock Car Spectacle out on Twitter and Instagram as well. You can check us out on all of our podcast platforms. We thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out our future shows this week.